In 2007 came Sony Columbia's feature film called Ghost Rider, starring Nick Cage, and then in 2012 came the sequel, Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. The very next year, 2013, Kevin Feige revealed that the rights to Ghost Rider had reverted back to Marvel. This happened at the same time they got the rights to Blade back from New Line. They wanted to give Ghost Rider a break because that last movie was not well received, but just 3 years later, less if you account for development, by 2016, Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gave us yet another Spirit of Vengeance. And with just those 3 projects in a short amount of time, we got Robbie Reyes, Johnny Blaze, and Carter Slade, all different iterations of Ghost Rider. Up until September of 2019, there was intent for Gabriel Luna's Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have his own spin-off series on Hulu that would even evolve into a Spirits of Vengeance / Midnight Suns ensemble. Unfortunately, that was canceled by Hulu, citing the quote-unquote creative differences, catch-all of a reason, but after that, Gabriel Luna said that he hoped Norman Reedus would portray Ghost Rider on the film side of the MCU. That's a lot of movement in just a few years, so it's pretty clear that the intent to bring Ghost Rider to the screen, big and small, is one that Marvel has been working for quite some time. So let's dive into the latest rumors surrounding Ghost Rider and talk about him right now. But before we start, let me say thank you, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more for watching the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the content that we upload just like this each and every week. Let's jump back into the video. The great thing about Ghost Rider is the amount of different characters who have taken up the mantle and have rode everything from a motorcycle to a woolly mammoth to a 1969 Dodge Charger. It allows for a lot of different characters and different actors to come in and out of the role and have it remain organic. At the beginning of February, our friends at Lords of the Long Box, by way of industry insider Mikey Sutton, brought this major news piece to their live YouTube show. Quote, "The man who hunts vampires meets a woman with her head on fire? No, that's not the punchline of a joke or the beginning of a joke, but it is something that's coming to the MCU, and her name is Alejandra Jones. She's the next Ghost Rider in the MCU." End quote. So as we're just talking about, the many versions of the Ghost Rider have already been brought to the screen multiple times. This iteration will be an opportunity to bring something fresh to the table, something familiar, and yet entirely new. For those not as familiar with the goings-on of the MCU, it will also make for a more obvious break between the Nick Cage outings, which are not considered canon, and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, depending on who you ask, is either not canon or questionably canon. Marvel Studios at the time of the show actually offered Marvel TV multiple versions of Ghost Rider, and they, meaning Jeff Loeb, Jeffrey Bell, and others, like their casting director, a lady named Sarah Finn, chose Robbie Reyes. On top of that, Sarah Finn loves Gabriel Luna. She also happens to be the MCU casting director currently. She's still there with the Marvel Studios team, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, doing their casting as well. And it stands to reason that this show is pulled from Hulu to put him on the reserve list for a cinematic appearance alongside a female Ghost Rider, Alejandra Jones. So who is Alejandra Jones? Well, she's a young girl from Nicaragua who first appeared in Marvel Comics in 2011 during an event called Fear Itself. Her parents, a Mexican lady and a drug trafficker from America, sold their daughter Alejandra to a temple in Nicaragua. The temple was run by a man known only as Seeker. And at that same time, Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider at the time, made a deal with the first man named Adam to get rid of the Spirit of Vengeance, a curse, and find a new Ghost Rider host. So Adam went to Seeker at his temple, and that's how Alejandra wound up with the powers. Mikey and TiVo also said that this version of Ghost Rider may very well be introduced in the Mahershala Ali Blade film. They got the rights to these characters back at the same time, and Blade we know is coming in Phase 5. If you couple this with what else we know is potentially on the way, namely Hellstrom series, possibly a Glyph series as well, Hannibal King, Moon Knight, Elsa Bloodstone, Morbius, if Sony and Marvel have the desire to do what they did with Spider-Man and now Spider-Woman, plus rumblings in the past of Jennifer Kale and her Legion of Night, we have the Blade, horror, occult, supernatural corner of the MCU ultimately forming their own team ensemble project. And this would include multiple versions of Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch were both part of those teams. It follows the Marvel format of it, as I mentioned here on the channel many times, whereby characters are introduced in solo outings, solo original pieces that all culminate in a team outing. The Avengers did it, Defenders did it on Netflix, Marvel seems to be okay with Sony doing it with Sinister Six, Hulu is going to be bringing shows together in a show called The Offenders, Disney Plus is going to be doing it seems like with both the Young Avengers and Thunderbolts, and my point for mentioning all of those is to highlight the fact that this is the format for the MCU, and this would therefore also be true for the occult, supernatural side of the universe as well. It's great when trying to project or forecast the trajectory of the MCU beyond what's officially been announced by looking at their patterns. Not only that, but Marvel, and I don't think this will happen as it did in the comic books, but Marvel had an actual team of Ghost Riders during 2015's Secret Wars event, so the idea of more than one Ghost Rider on a team definitely has precedence. They didn't want to do it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Jeff Loeb didn't want to do it. It was supposed to be a mantle passed down one at a time. But that's not to say that Kevin Feige and the MCU wouldn't have multiple iterations at the same time. There was a rumor that began on the less than reliable 4chan boards at the end of 2019 claiming that Bella Thorne might be Ghost Rider in the future. It's a big jump as Phase 5 is still a couple years away, of course. And at this point, there might be a quote-unquote wish list, if you will, a list of actors that Feige and his team might want to pursue when it gets to the casting stage. But to say Bella Thorne is Ghost Rider at this point is entirely premature. Also, if she'd signed a contract this early, she would have also signed the famously sealed up like Fort Knox Marvel Disney NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, which would have prevented her from confirming or even responding probably to this rumor. What that does tell us though is that not only does movement happen from time to time on the Ghost Rider IP from the Feige development camp, which is what people pick up and is leaked out to our insiders, but also that Mikey Sutton's reveal about the next Ghost Rider bears even more merit. Spirits of Vengeance, plural, might mean more than one Ghost Rider. Perhaps Robbie Reyes and Alejandra Jones are on the way, with Johnny Blaze being part of her origin story. But let me know what you think, and would you like to see Gabriel Luna back, as well as your thought on the Bella Thorne news? I'm sure we'll have some interesting comments there. But that's it for this one, my friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can be one of the first to know when we upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.